Welcome to Talkin' with Dave. Here's Dave.
Hey, how we doing out there? I hope you are doing well. I am top shelf myself, as expected, right? Well, today I've got a serious topic. I hate to bring some of this stuff to light sometimes, but I think it's about time. I have observed recently the propensity of our population to engage in butt stuff. I know. I wouldn't have believed it myself if I haven't seen it and heard it myself. Recently I was at a gathering, and it was everywhere. Old people, young people, middle-aged people, both sexes, male, female, combination of either. You know how that goes now. But it was everywhere. Butt stuff. And then to my horror, and I don't, I feel like we're pretty close. So I'm going to confess. I found myself engaging in butt stuff myself. It's not something I'm proud of. I don't think, I think it's subliminal. I'd like to make excuses that it just kind of snuck up on me, but I did. Several times I found myself engaging in the butt stuff. So I'm here to tell you that I'm not the only one that thinks it's ridiculous. We need to cut back, if not eliminate, the butt stuff. Let me give you a couple examples. Richard Carlson, I don't know who that is, but he's famous enough for that to show up when I was looking for some guidance here. But Richard Carlson said the word butt is an argument dressed up as an explanation. Okay, all right, so butt is an argument, but you're disguising it. What are you trying to say here? And then some guy named Anonymous, he must be, he's very famous. I see a lot of quotes by him. Everything before the word but is a lie. How about that? It's true, though. Think about it. We'll talk about that more. And then William Ury said, say yes, and you'll figure it out afterwards. The word but is a dream killer. A dream killer. Butt stuff will kill your dreams. And then a final one. Everything is going great until you get your butt involved. That was me. I've made that up. I'm trying to get in the acceptable quote business, but that might not be some of my best work. But I butted. Did you hear that? Click. When I was doing this the other day, once I noticed the propensity of butt stuff, I got my clicker out, my famous clicker. And when someone else would say it, I would click. When I would say it, I would click. And it's just unbelievable how much butt stuff is out there. I remember way back, I used to work for a good company, and they used to be a good company, but the VP would come around and they would do focus groups and ask for feedback. What are we doing well? What can we work on? Where are we missing the mark? Stuff like that. Great practice. And it was an open, you could say anything you wanted. What's said here stays here. Well, I remember we would go around the room. There was a bunch of us managers. And by the time it got to me, everybody had taken the good stuff. And so I said, well, I can only think of one. Of course, I mentioned a couple of good things, but I said, only thing I can think of is, when you gave that speech the other day and it was so good, and then at the end you said, but we've got a tough quarter coming up. We got this, we got this, we got this. We need more. That's all we heard. Just like the guy said. And I told him, if you could just say good job without the buts sometimes, that would probably go a long way. And I'm thinking, oh, great. Yeah, this was a great place to work. He's going to let me go. He's probably going to say, can I talk to you for a minute after it's over? Not at all. As a matter of fact, the CEO came to the group and said, he wrote a letter in like a company thing, a hard copy, back when we printed things. And he was praising our job. We obviously had a good quarter, good year, good whatever. And he said, I just want to say good jobs without the buts. I think, it resonated. That's fantastic. And so, see, I knew this early on, and I've tried not to do that but stuff. It just comes natural. And sometimes, because it's all around us and it's accepted. What I'm trying to do here, though, is to sharpen your sword a little bit. And we're going to go through the gambit of why it's not good, the psychological side of things, how we can maybe do some adjustments, and then finally, what's it going to look like when we stop doing the butt stuff? It's going to be great. There'll be celebrations and the people will be rejoicing. So let's get into it. And this is, whether at home, work, or play. I mean, no matter where you are, who you're talking to, this can apply. So by exaggerating a little bit or using something a little more graphic, think of the word but as a dagger. And you're using that to whatever you're saying. So if you're trying to make a point, that dagger, the word but, is destroying it. It's destroying your momentum. It's destroying your meaning. It's destroying the uplifting part or the positive part. So think of it that way. That's drastic, I know. But we've got to get this but stuff under control. So the first thing to consider is the word but negates the first part of the statement. Like that guy, everything before but is a lie. Well, think about it. When but is used, that is the pivot point. You did a great job, but there's some issues. All they heard is issues. We got issues. The dagger effect. You did a great job, but there's some issues. All right. Okay, what are the issues? That's the kind of dagger and pivot point it is. It takes away. Now it's negative. You did a great job. But there's some issues. See what it did? How powerful your but is? Also, it triggers a defensive situation. Maybe it's a defensive response, or it just makes them defensive. I guess a defensive response would be better than them just to be, defensive internally and not bring anything up. But it's that dagger. It creates that psychological shift in what's going on, that pivot point. Also, it creates a hierarchy. Okay, I'm talking to you and I'm saying this, and now you're defensive. I've put myself above you, or God forbid, I've pushed you down, which is horrible. One little word, a 3-syllable word. Not a 3-syllable word, a 3-letter word. I don't even think in a Southerner, I could probably turn it into 2 syllables. I don't think I could turn but into 3 syllables. I'm not even going to try. For another time. It creates that hierarchy. My ideas are better than yours. I'm judging you. That type of thing. In many cases, that's why it's so disturbing to do this at work. If you do it with your friends, it's, you're not better than me or whatever. It still puts them at a defense. But at work, it means things. Ooh, is that butt going to get me fired? It's a dagger. Also, it a lot of times it can impose a type of contradiction. It's like it makes you look confused. Like, for example, I like your idea, but it's not practical. Wait a minute. You like my idea? Well, if it's not practical, why do you like it? Now I'm confused, and I'm not going to hear the next 3 sentences you're saying. We're going, wait a minute. Well, then why did you like it? What did you like about it? Well, why is it not practical? All this stuff is zooming around in their head. It's a dagger. Don't use but. We're going to talk about how to not use it in a minute. Just calm down. Don't get defensive. then you think about it, probably the most overreaching is what it does is it takes away the impact of the first part, the praise part. Usually we start with the good, and it's positive. And that's what you want. That's what lends itself to collaboration or getting along or moving forward on a positive front. And just that simple, but this is, it's horrible. It's horrible. And two, it kind of interrupts, it doesn't kind of, it interrupts where the emotions are going. You want positive emotions. But then again, I've heard people use it when things get emotional. Sometimes people get emotional. I know many times well, not many times, a couple of times I've coached or tried to guide people, and a couple of ladies, and I don't like it when it doesn't happen often, but when ladies will use emotion when they're put on the spot. Maybe the call went bad, or I'm coaching them and they think it's going to get worse. And I'm a cream puff, really, I am. But a lot of times I'll do that, and I'll just have to say, look, let's dry it up. We're going to be fine. But I have heard people say things like, I'm sorry you're upset, but you're overreacting. Well, okay, but you're overreacting. Well, you're not sorry they're upset. It's, yeah, I love those apologies when, if you're offended, I'm sorry. Not, I'm sorry about what I said. But that's that but there. When somebody's already emotional, that will change that emotion. And now there's no good emotional connection. You've really stuck a dagger in that. And now to add, but you're overreacting, whoo, that's a dagger butt right there. I mean, come on. That's also pretty stupid in my book. But when you think of it as see, click, I said but. When you think of it as a dagger, hopefully you'll be less likely to do it. Hopefully that purple car is going to kick in and you're going to notice it. You're going to notice it. And then we can use some of these examples of how to remove the but stuff from our lives and move on with something else. Like a lot of times when I'm dieting or something, which I do from time to time, it's, okay, if I can't have that, I need something to replace it with. So instead of reaching for this to drink, I'll reach for this to drink. This is okay. This is not. This is but. No but stuff. I need something else. So that's what we're going to talk about here. And, I think this is an easier way. The word and instead of but. Think of it that way. Get into some and stuff. For example, like feedback. If you're giving feedback at a work environment, you did a great job on this report, but you missed a few important details. Okay, all they heard is, okay, what did I miss? What did I miss? Replace that with, you did a great job on this report, and adding a few more details was going to make it even better. And then you're talking about what can be added to it, not what you left out. It's a much more positive, flowing way of thinking. And see, when you do this, any corrections or when you hit a group, like if it's in a team meeting, somebody bold enough to give an idea, hey, that idea is interesting, but I don't think it's going to work here. Not for this project. All right, you've shot that person down. They'll probably be less likely to speak up because it's in front of their peers or a group, or maybe it's somebody new that's on a development, and now they're just now they're really scorned by what's going on. A better way to say that would be, your idea is interesting, and we might need to adjust it to fit the project, but it's something we can build on. Did you hear what I did? I used but. I said, but it's something we can build on. Take the but out. Let me say it again the right way. Your idea is interesting, and we might need to adjust it, and we might need to adjust it to fit the project. Take that but out. it's something we can build on. There you go. See how it just flows, and it's so easy to get into the butt stuff. Sorry about that. In relationships, remember I said homework and play? I love spending time with you, but you just never help me out with the chores around here. This could be a roommate. It could be any situation, anything you would share chores with. Do we still call them chores? I love spending time with you, but you never help me out. But all they heard is, hey, I don't help out. They didn't hear that love spending time with you part. How about taking that and I love spending time with you, and it'd be great if we could share the chores more evenly. It's different, and it would be great. I love it, and it would be great. This reminds me of Elaine. Remember when she was over Elaine off of Seinfeld, when she had that rough vet that was coming in helping with some of the the stuff in the magazine, and he talked about kicking in skulls, and she said, "Okay, all right. Well, how about we tweak that a little bit? Instead of kicking in a skull, let's tweak it and put walking through a dewy meadow. How about that?" So it's a little bit of that approach. You could say something positive without hammering them. Another one, like for customer service. We appreciate your feedback, but there's nothing we can do about it right now at this time, or however they say it. Wow, that's not good customer service, is it? How about replacing that with, we appreciate your feedback and we're looking into ways we can address this going forward. All right, they're looking into it. All right, I still don't like it. But they didn't butt me. They didn't put their butt in my face. Performance reviews. Who hasn't either had one performed on them or conducted them themselves? Classic one. Your sales numbers were strong this quarter, but your customer service scores could improve. Okay, well, all right, I know what I got to work on, but that but took away the fact that my sales numbers were strong. The replacement. Your sales numbers were strong this quarter, and focusing on improving your customer service scores could make next quarter even better. Much different. You're talking about you did good this quarter. Here's how you can do even better next quarter. It's much more positive, and people want to be around positive people. Think of the impact at work. Being around positive people is great, makes it a better place to work. And if you get along with the people that are, that you report to, that's even better. It's going to make you be more positive. All right, at home, being around the home and play, being around people and being a positive influence, it's going to make it that much nicer, and you're going to pull in more positive people, which I talk over and over about. Surround yourself with positive people. Create a positive environment. So this is a little tweak that the butt stuff that's interfering with your momentum and how positive it's going to be. And even if you invert it, like I did an inverted butt earlier, the inverted butt stuff, which is, it's a tough one. But I started with a negative and finished with a positive. You've got a lot of room for improvement here, but I know you can do it if you stick with it. Okay, it ended with but I know you can do it. I put the but there. There's no sense in saying any of that first part or the but. I know you can do this. That's the statement. Why add more words to it? Why talk about the negative, then throw a but in there to get to the positive? Just say that. You're not doing good now, but if you keep working at it, you're going to do great. Why talk about not doing well now? And leave the but at home. You're doing great. I know you can do it. I'm your biggest fan. That's going to be great. Just leave out the negative part. So an inverted butt stuff is almost bad as regular butt stuff. There you go. And so the tactic I use there is replacing it with and. So that's one of the tactics. So let's talk about a few tactics. Once we're purple card up, we're noticing where our butts are. What do we do with it then? Well, let's replace it. One of the tactics is to replace it with and. Instead of saying, I like your idea, but we need to revise it. We need to touch it here, touch it here. That's not the way we do it. It's, I like your idea, and we need to revise it. Or, and we can add a few things. And I believe we can make it better. Instead of, but we need to revise it. And here's the good part. You got a good idea, and this is good too. Rather than, I like your idea, but replace it with and. Another way, instead of saying but, just pause. Just pause. This can be effective. It's almost like, thoughtful type stuff. We could do it this way, but it's going to take longer. All right? Instead of that, we could do it this way. It'll take longer, like you're thinking. And you're working it out. You left the but out. We can do it this way. It'll take longer, and you're encouraging some collaboration. You didn't hit them with the but. And then framing something. I like this design, but it's just too complex. Okay, how can we reframe that? Okay. Main thing is, in most of these cases, instead of making it a long sentence, make it 2 sentences. Like, I like this design. Let's simplify it for clarity. Nothing negative there. Collaborate. We got something we're working with here without the but. See what I'm saying? Acknowledging both sides is another one. When you feel like you need to contradict it a little bit, it's almost like, I want to help you, but I'm busy. You need help, but I'm busy. What? Being able to look at both sides, like, I want to help. I have a tight schedule, so let's find when we both have some time. Okay, you haven't changed the message at all. Clearly you need help. I want to help you. I'm really hammered right now. Let's look at a time. Pull up your calendar, book it. Book some time. It's because when you say I want to help you, but I'm busy, it's like, oh man, do you ever need help? I'm too busy to help. Meaning you're not important enough for me to help. Or you're not a priority for me. But when you change that to where I want to help you, I've got a tight schedule. Let's look at some time. That proves you do want to help. So there's different ways. Also, however is a good one. Now there's your 3-syllable replacement for but. You had to think about, when you still contrasting two ideas. Like, I think you've got some good ideas. Well, let me think of the sentence. You've got some good ideas, but I don't think they're going to work. I think you got some good ideas. However, I think we can build something a little better by adding this or that or whatever. But adding in a however instead of a but. That's almost like a cheat for but. A but cheat, if you will. So there's some different ways. You're going to have to find what works for your style. A lot of this will come into reflection. Like when you're clicking away and, oh, man, what did I say? I said, but in this context, what should I have said? You will find, and you have no idea how many times I'm avoiding butting you right now, but I've developed, and when I am thoughtful and at my best, I don't use that word as a negative. But I have found myself falling prey to that, just as a habit. I just did it. I think I've done it 3 times so far inadvertently. So the point is, we need to remove it. It messes up your message. However, there are things you can do when it slips. When it slips. And it's going to slip. When I'm doing different things and trying to improve on stuff, I find that people really like it, if you'll admit it. We've all been there. somebody wants you to split an appetizer of tater tots or something really fattening, and you're on a diet. Just let them know. Oh, thanks. I'm trying to cut back on carbs. And so, I mean, who's going to say, nope, you got to eat them? But they appreciate it because they've been there before, or different things you're working on. There's ways. What I mean by this is they're going to expect you to mess up every now and then. You can expect yourself. Just let them know. Just let them know. One of the things is, and it's probably the easiest ones, when you say it, when you say, you know, when you say the word but, I meant to say and. I'm trying to get but out of my vocabulary. So and restate it. Now that is a blatant admission that most people aren't brave enough to do. So when you accidentally say it, one thing you can do is just follow up with but, well, and the and resets it a little bit. You can also rephrase it. This is a good idea, but sorry. Let me rephrase it. This is a good idea, and we need to enhance it by doing this. So you're pausing. You said it. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. And you're resetting the table. So doing all that takes that butt dagger out of it. And I believe that it can be negated when you do something like that. Acknowledging both sides of something. An example would be, I love the idea, but actually, I also see how we can make it even stronger. So that's still the same thing. It's almost like you're contradicting the but with what you're saying in both times. But, sorry, let me rephrase that. Or, but, you know what, actually, and then you go on with what you say. You're resetting it and negating the but. Some of these are hard to do, and you're going to find it. Just don't let it derail your thought. Yeah, even if you say it, I meant to say and. We can do this and just totally defuse the but the main thing is shift to what you wanted to say, the positive side. It can be not always positive, but it's a productive side of things. Yeah. So it's something you're gonna have to deal with. The best way is just eliminate it, substitute with and, a pause, however. If it comes out, all right, let me rephrase that. And then rephrase it right. That's probably the best way to go through it. I'll tell you, though, there is what I think is the worst kind of but. The worst kind of but is the yeah, but. Yeah, but. You ever been yeah, butted? It is demeaning. It's demoralizing. It's all just like, psh, everything you just said. Yeah. It's almost like, yeah. But. It's horrible. That eats at me. The statement can stand on its own without the yeah but. Okay? If you're saying something and I have an alternative point of view, take the yeah but out and make your point. You want to talk football? All right. Well, you've got this, you've got your team, all that. And I'm listening to it. I'm listening to your argument that I don't agree with it, or maybe I do agree with it. When it's my turn, I just state mine instead of a yeah, but. That means I wasn't really listening. It's no big deal. I'm just waiting to say what I want to. Oh, the yeah, but. The statement, your statement that you want to make, just don't add those two. I know it's a transition, right? It's a transition. The yeah, but annoys me. I mean, it's just reducing everything to what you say doesn't matter, what I say does, and the way to go through that, you could say, good point, and make your point. If you want to say good point, that's fine. If you totally disagree, you know what you can say? I totally disagree because yada yada yada. Don't get into butt stuff, not even with an enemy, especially with an enemy or a different point of view. The butt will not bring us together. I think we can all agree on that. So the yeah, but I think it's one of the worst. It's easy. It's lazy. Ugh, yeah, but gets on my nerves. Sorry, lost my composure there. Almost lost my cool. So when we're looking at the benefits to taking it out, yeah, David, you seem to have a little bit of a pet peeve here. Again, I'm just trying to make you more productive, make your conversations to flow, to create that positive momentum. When you take the word but out, you stop your butt stuff, reduce your butt stuff, baby steps. There's some things that it's going to do, and you will notice a difference. You may not, once you remove it, you're going to find that certain things happen, and it's a lot easier. It's not as much of a struggle. And you might not even be able to deduce why. Stop the butt stuff, and something's going to happen. There's going to be less defensiveness. Less defensiveness. You replace it with and. You have the however. You do the pause. Hey, it's going to be less defensiveness because it's going to be a stronger collaborative environment. Think about that. Think about that. Instead of, I like your idea, but it needs work. I like your idea, and it can become so much better if we can partner together. So it encourages collaboration. Everybody loves collaboration. Nobody wants to be in something alone. I mean, you may have a attention freak or a power hungry person. Even they can recognize good people and people that they want on their team, and you may need those. So by taking butt out and having it positive and a win-win type deal, it's good, and I think we can make it better. That's great. Collaboration. Also, that keeps positive momentum going. We talked earlier about how a but makes it a pivot point, and you go from positive to negative. You lose your momentum. By avoiding that but, you maintain that positive. And if, then, no buts. That's fantastic. I love it. This strategy's great, but it's too expensive. Well, that's horrible. That's horrible. Hey, the strategy's great, and I think with a tweak here or there, we can make it more cost effective. How about that? That's great. It's like, I'm all in. Let's go. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic way to not only have momentum, but to create more momentum in a positive situation. You got that positive momentum going. It's great. People want to be around you. It's like, oh yeah, okay, good. And everybody involved is in a better place. It's so important. Momentum is important in anything, in a friendship, with a spouse, with your kids, at work. It's important. So keep that going. And another thing too, with that collaboration and taking butt out, stopping the butt stuff, it makes it feel like, okay, you're problem solving with somebody. When you shift from that but to an and or plus is another great one. You feel like, okay, you got a partner in problem solving, and people need that so desperately. We want to move forward, but we got some roadblocks. How about when we want to move forward, and there are a few challenges that we can address and overcome. Plus, there are a few things that are going to get in our way, and we can make it happen. We can make it happen. Problem solving. And then another thing too, it's going to happen. You're going to be elevated and seen as the positive person, a problem solver, a collaborator without the dagger, and your leadership qualities. Taking but out of your vocabulary is a leadership quality, but it's absolutely going to be noticed, and you'll rise to the top. You'll be seen as a positive leader, homework or play. I believe that with all my heart. So, I mean, these are strategies that it's important because it's going to set the stage for something, but also it's almost like you got speed bumps in your neighborhood. Don't you hate those? I know kids are important and they're riding on their bicycles and tricycles or whatever, and people drive too fast and all that. But aren't they annoying? Don't they stop your momentum by design? Maybe a poor choice of analogies here. And when we use the but, that's what that does to our conversation. It's what it does to our momentum. It's what it does to our positive influence or our positive coaching. It is a speed bump in that regard. Another reason to take them out. So, I mean, using these strategies, it's going to enhance your ability to influence people, engage people the right way, both in whether it's professional or personal. And don't forget about the devastating effects of the yeah but. Only negative people will yeah but you. We've all been there. And God forbid you yeah but yourself. That's like a double click on the clicker. So I've got hope. I've got hope. Don't yeah but me. And I understand that from time to time you're going to get your butt involved in things. Let's just can we cut down on it? Can we cut down on the butt stuff? Dramatic pause over. I hope you enjoyed this today. A little lighthearted, but very serious. I am serious about every bit of it. Please reach out to me at david@otalks.com or owd@otalks.com. We love to hear from you. It's fantastic. And it's a we now. I've got an intern. Kira is my intern. She's fantastic. She's a student at North Carolina Wilmington. She's studying film and all sorts of stuff. And she's helping me out a lot. I asked her if I could use her name, and she said yes. So there's a lot more. Anything good that comes of this is you got to give her credit. 100%. You're doing a great job without the buts. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for all the feedback. Hitting all the platforms. O-Talks Official on Instagram and TikTok. YouTube channel up and going. A lot more good stuff coming. Thanks for your support. But most of all, thanks for O-Talking with Dave. Giddy up.